Okay, let's explain the rules with more details. Basically, we have two categories of lifelines. There's the spelling of Mario and then there's the paper. The spelling of Mario breaks into 5. Each one has its own effect. Moveset, ability, restriction, items, and ouch. For the moveset, when it's used, whatever the last move the opposing player did, like for example if I did jump, then I am now restricted to only use that move for the next 8 battles. If it's a move that requires FP, such as a badge move like Power Smash, then I still have to stick by it and I can only choose to heal FP or use defense if I can't use it anymore because of lack of FP. Moveset does not apply for special items and strategy commands. A. Ability. For this one, the player will say the name of a command. For example, if Auka calls this one and says partner attacks, then I can no longer use that. So whichever move the player calls, that person can no longer use that move for the rest of the remaining of the episode. R. Restriction. The opposing player will not be able to attack with Mario and can only defend and appeal. Depending on the current partner, you can't switch partners either, unless it's done by a cutscenes. So if this is used, you can only attack with your partner, and you cannot switch it. All Mario can do is defend, appeal, heal, or run away. Nothing more. I. Items. The opposing player has to discard half of their current inventory when this is called. This can really mess you up depending on the situation. It's really tricky. So we're probably gonna save this for the most sneaky opportune moment. Oh, ouch. For the remaining of the episode, the opposing player, whenever they engage an enemy battle, they have to be struck first. So when this one gets called, they can only engage battle when the enemy strikes them first. They have to get hit in order to fight. Chill Out badge, Sap Tat badge, First Attack badge, and Bump Attack badge has to be unequipped if being used and remain unequipped, and this will go on for the rest of the episode. For the Mario lifelines, only one can be used per episode, so if Auka calls one, then I can't use any for the rest of the episode. And if I call one, then he can't use any. Only one can you use in total per episode, regardless of who used it. And there's no way of getting them back other than with their roulette. Now, let's explain paper. Paper works similar like the Mario lifelines, except that they're not as restrictive. The difference is, paper can be called by both players, but it can only be activated when you find a star piece. So if I find a star piece, I have the option to call paper. Once I use a paper, I have to roll a die, and whichever number I roll is the effect that I use. There are 5 lifelines in paper. Each can only be used once. Once all of them have been used, we have to wait 2 episodes to gain them back. For example, if I use them in episode 9, I have to wait all the way to episode 12 to get them back. This is only if I have none left. If by any chance I happen to recover 1, then it will reset the counter. The 5 lifelines are: number 1, no partner attacks for 5 battles. 2, no Mario attacks for 5 battles. 3, no using items for the remaining of the episode. 4, no using any badges. All badges must be unequipped for the remaining of the episode. And 5, no dodging or blocking attacks during the first turn of every battle for the remaining of the episode. If you roll a 6, then you get to manually pick which one you want to use. But remember, you can't repeat the same one you already used. And if you roll one that you already used, you simply have to re-roll again. Each one of these can only be used once per episode, but we can both call them. So if both of us were to call a paper, we can't use paper again for the rest of the episode. If you find a star piece and you decide not to use paper, then you have to collect another star piece again within the same episode in order to activate it. You don't get to hold on to it. Now finally, the roulette. For the roulette, you get additional effects for each jackpot. This is also the only way to recover Mario lifelines. Mushroom, you get 1 lifeline of choice back, which means you can select which one of the lifelines you already used to get it back if you get a mushroom jackpot. Flower, you get 1 paper of choice back. You get to select which paper that you already used to get back to use again. If you happen to have 0 papers and get a flower jackpot, then that means you'll be getting one back, so it resets the timer of getting them all back, as previously mentioned. Star. If you get a star jackpot, then you get one lifeline of choice back and choose to discard one from your opposing player's lifelines. This one's a doozy. Shine Sprites. You get all lifelines and all paper back. Shine Sprites is the biggest one, therefore it is the king. So this is definitely the one you'll want to aim for. Poison Mushroom. As it does in the game, it does for the lifeline as well. It hurts. So if you get a Poison Mushroom, then instead of gaining anything, the opposing player gets to discard one of your lifelines. You do not want to get a Poison Mushroom jackpot. All lifelines are null during chapter boss battles, which means whenever we reach the final boss of a chapter, it's normal game. All the lifelines are null, so if there was a lifeline used that prevented me from attacking with Mario, then it no longer has any effect during this specific battle. This is so it can stay fair between us, because if we were to restrict such things as using items or specific moves, it pretty much makes the boss battle impossible to win. And that's basically it for all the special rules we did for this game. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions or can't remember something in the future episodes, just look at the description below. This entire tutorial will have its own video, and the link will be in the description below, so you can just watch it over again if you ever forget anything.